So, with the news of Lewis Hamilton moving to Ferrari, in this video we're going to be taking a look at who could replace him and why I think each decision would make sense. Obviously, with Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari, Mercedes are losing one of the biggest brands to ever grace Formula 1 and probably the biggest brand ever in Formula 1. They're also losing, statistically, the greatest driver of all time. 8 world championships, 104 wins, 104 pole positions, nearly 200 podiums in his time throughout F1 since 2007. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to replace Lewis Hamilton. We can have a discussion down there. I try and reply to every single comment that happens. So let's get into the first driver on the list. Now, a short-term fix for me would be the potential move of Fernando Alonso. Obviously, still hitting great heights at 43 years of age. He could sign a one-year contract, which would give Kimi Antonelli the chance to find his feet in F2 and potentially Formula 1 for then Kimi Antonelli to take the seat when Fernando Alonso he'll probably be 45 at that point in time. Now, do I think Fernando Alonso is a great choice? Now, I don't. The reason why Hamilton has left is because Mercedes didn't want to commit to him long term, didn't want to give him a proper multi-year contract, which is why there was a break clause. Now, I personally think Lewis Hamilton made the perfect decision in taking the move to Ferrari. The 1+1, now I understand it properly, was very, very disrespectful, the removal of the ambassadorial role. But if they take Fernando Alonso, that's a proper kick in the balls to Lewis Hamilton. Oh, you're too old, we can't give you a proper contract. But we're going to give Fernando Alonso one. And Fernando Alonso is what, 3-4 years older than Lewis Hamilton? So for me, I think if they took Alonso, it'd be a stupid decision. It wouldn't make sense based on the reasons why they didn't keep Lewis Hamilton for longer. So for me, I think Fernando Alonso stays where he is at Aston Martin. Maybe takes a move to Red Bull, but I don't think he'll be in contention for the Mercedes seat. Although conversations may happen due to Toto and Lawrence Stroll's close relationship. Next up, you've obviously got Carlos Sainz. Now, Carlos Sainz is the one being replaced by Lewis Hamilton. And for me, if Carlos Sainz was going to go to Mercedes, I think they'd have just done a straight swap. I do think they would have swapped straight for 2024. I think it would have made the most sense because then you don't have two drivers in a team where they know at the end of the year they're not going to be there. So I don't think Carlos Sainz will get this seat, although to be honest with you, I think he'd be a good candidate. I think he's a good driver. I think him and George Russell would push each other. Obviously not to the level of Lewis Hamilton, but I do think he'd be a really good option. But I don't think it's one they're going to take. Now, next up, I'm going to talk about both Alpine drivers. Now, I always thought that Pierre Gasly, if he left the Red Bull Academy, I thought he'd end up at Mercedes. I personally thought that if Lewis won in 21 and retired, I thought Gasly would have been the replacement and they'd have had a Gasly and Russell partnership. Now, I believe both Alpine drivers, Gasly and Ocon's contracts end at the end of 2024. So it would be a perfect time. There'd be no buyout fee. Wouldn't really need to have a problem with Alpine. So do I think Gasly's going to get the seat? Probably not. But he is who I'd want to get the seat if they're going for an experienced driver. There's also another driver that I'm going to talk about later on. But next, we're going to look at the other Alpine driver of Esteban Ocon. Now, I don't think Ocon would be a good move, but I believe that Ocon was managed by Toto Wolff. So that could be a really, really easy deal to get completed and to cover Mercedes until they find a proper suitable candidate. Because replacing the statistical GOAT is never going to be easy. Whoever takes that seat is never going to live up to expectation and never going to live up to the hype of Lewis Hamilton. Personally think we're going to see a huge change at Mercedes. We're already seeing rumours just days into Hamilton agreeing to move to Ferrari that engineers are leaving to go to Ferrari with Lewis Hamilton. Bono could be heading to Maranello. Lewis is interested in taking Andrew Shovelin with him, and he's been at Mercedes, well, the former teams of that since, 1999? Before I was even born. He's essentially been there 20, nearly 30 years. So that's going to be a big decision for Shove, and I think if he leaves, it makes a real statement about where Mercedes is going and where they're going to end up. And I think we'll get into this in the end, actually. So next up, we're going to talk about the two drivers who I think are most likely to get the seat. Now, you've got Alex Albon at Williams. Obviously, Toto Wolff and James Vowles, really good friends. They worked together, obviously, at Mercedes for a really, really long time. And obviously, Alex Albon has been incredible over the past 12 to 18 months. And obviously, if he carries it on into the 2024 season, I think he's going to be an option for most of the top teams. I personally thought he'd take Carlos Sainz's seat heading into 25, but then Lewis Hamilton drops this bombshell. I did a video on it and gave my reaction at the time. I'll link that in the corner of the video right now. But I think if Mercedes want experience, I think there's two drivers they can go for who they can keep long term, and I think it's Albon or Gasly. I think there would be beautiful options for an experienced head, someone capable of driving. Obviously, both previously part of Red Bull, and I think it could give them an opportunity to show Red Bull what they're missing out on. But there was rumours today when I'm filming this, which is Saturday the 3rd of February, that Alex Albon has had offered a contract from Red Bull for 3 years from 25 onwards. Now, whether that's real or not, who knows? It could just be Alex Albon's camp trying to get themselves in front of Mercedes, maybe, to have a conversation, see what's going on there. But then finally, the prodigy, the Italian maestro, Kimi Antonelli. I made a video about him talking about why I believe he could be the next Lewis Hamilton. I'll link that in the corner. But I do think he's an option. I do think they're going to look at it. And I don't think they're going to make a decision on who's getting this seat till maybe September. I think they'd be stupid to make an early decision without seeing Kimi in F2. Because if Kimi goes into F2 and blows everyone away, wins the title, is consistent, I personally would put him in that seat next to George Russell. And then you can give him, sort of similar to what McLaren have done, you give him a year where he can bed in, learn the ropes, understand what's going on, and then the year after, expect a lot more. But I do think, personally, there's three options for me. It's Albon, Gasly, or Kimi. And for me, everything depends on how well Kimi starts F2. If he starts badly and doesn't show what they all believe he's capable of, then I think it'll go to someone like Albon or Gasly. But if he blows everybody out of the water, performs to a high level in F2, even potentially battles for the championship in F2, I think he gets the drive at Mercedes. That is what I think. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to get the drive. Do you think it's going to be Kimi? Do you think Fernando Alonso will get it? Who do you think is going to get the seat? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe to keep all up to date with my latest Formula 1 and football videos. And I'll catch you in the next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.